So the aunties of TikTok are now calling out young black women and how they have been dressing for homecoming.
It's sad when HBCU alumni go to their homecoming and then have to jump on this app and reprimand the students because it was so much ass out for homecoming. Like, this what y'all learning at the tune of $25,000 a year? Y'all didn't have to go to college to be looking like that. And I'm going to touch y'all hand when I say this. You're pretty from the front. There is a dehumanization that we do to ourselves as black women when we put all our stock, all our glory is in our ass when no one can see our face. You're not a horse. You're not a dog. You're not some animal. You're a woman. You're a woman. Dr. Du Bois coined the term the talented tenth. And it may have been classes or elitists, but those who go to, this is college. It's a university. That's the number one place to level up. And like, beyond there's elders there. Beyond there's children there. Beyond there's connections made. Represent your college well. And I want to represent the best of my university, not the worst.
So the generation that brought us this and this.
We just saw this girl getting her clothes just ripped off. She was getting mauled. It was like a swarm of bees just attacking her all at one time.
Hold it through the sound, let the bass bomb. Got to hit the sound and you feel the thumb. Benny bang bling and it feels enough band. And the dirty sound when the party begins. Cruising down the boulevard, feeling so fly. With a crew full of stars watching.
Is now out here.
I know I'm turning into an auntie because I'm glad I got to enjoy college, homecoming, the nasty but classy parties, Black Diamonds and Pearls, Bayou Classic, all of that without all of this TikTok and heavy social media. Because why is it that you in your early 20s and you got a skirt up your crack and you already got dimples in your booty? You want to show that to people? You want to walk up and down the street at your homecoming looking like that? And I understand style, but when y'all starting to buy, it looked like a blanket that she had somebody sew into a crop top and a skirt and mix it with sheen pieces. You look tacky trying to be different. I'm just saying.
And before I continue, let me be very clear. I am not saying that all black women went to Freaknik. Where exactly did I say or imply that all black women went to Freaknik? I said your generation. You see, each generation passes down good things and things that aren't so good. And like it or not, the generation before us set the tone and the pace for the generation that we're in right now. And just like previous generations, we are making the same mistake by starting these conversations when it comes down to the clothes that the younger generations are choosing to wear, you know, by starting off with y'all done going too far. Clothes are a reflection of how people see themselves. So whether or not we're talking about men who choose to wear slack clothes or women who choose to reveal so much skin that leaves very little to the imagination, they are reflecting exactly how they see themselves. And really what's so interesting about this is that the same demographic, the same generation of people who are now out here telling these young women that you have gone way too far with this are the same women who not too long ago when Hulu was getting ready to release a documentary on Freaknik, well, they didn't really like that too much.
Y'all, I don't know. We might be in trouble. Did y'all see Hulu is about to release a documentary about 94 Freaknik? Yes. 1994 Freaknik. Yes. They are about to release a documentary. So, I'm just, now I've been to several Freakniks. 94 was one that I attended. So I'm just praying that Jesus be a fence. I'm praying that Jesus just be a big, tall privacy fence. That's my prayer. this Easter, this Good Friday. That's my prayer. So, you know, I will say this though. I will say this. Like when they would bring out those video cameras and start recording, I immediately removed myself from the that situation. I never ever was okay with being recorded out there. So hopefully that worked to my benefit, but you know, you never know. You never know. So the only thing I got is, if you see your girl in the documentary, hey man, at least I'm fully clothed. At least all my clothes is on. That's all I got. That's the best I got. But yeah, y'all.
In fact, there were some women who even threatened to mount a lawsuit to get it canceled because they didn't want future generations to see that. But I think we need to get into this a little bit further, shall we? So there was a time when our culture, black culture, set a very high value, and we took great pride in being self-sufficient. And in order to be self-sufficient, high standards had to be set. Standards like growing our own food, building our own houses, creating and managing and distributing our own music, policing our own communities. We took great pride in doing for self. Never mind that the greater society was keeping us, to the best of their ability, out of their space. Even with that, we still took great pride. It forced us to take great pride in ourselves and to build ourselves up because we were all we had. So naturally, this was reflected in how we dressed. So we recognized that the moment we walked out of that front door, we weren't just representing ourselves as individuals, but we were also representing our families, and we were also representing our communities. You know, in fact, we used to go a little bit too far with this. And if you talk to anybody that's older in your family, they'll tell you that your parents were the ones that will always tell you, now, don't you go out here without with holes in your drawers, because if you go out with holes in your drawers and you get hit by a bus or a car, you know, they're going to see those holes in your drawers. Okay, so what do we have here?
He was hit by a bus.
Oh, man. Okay. All right, so what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to remove his clothes. We're going to have to start with the pants. Okay. Oh, my goodness. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Now, if you fast forward to today, you'll see that the very same demographic who's out here right now that are complaining about what these young women are wearing and how they're acting and conducting themselves is the very same demographic who are the highest viewers of shows like Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is the same demographic that has no problem getting on social media and twerking and doing all this kind of crazy stuff out here.
You gotta twerk! Go!
Cruising on the block, got the face up in the ride.
And they want to redefine it as being grown and sexy.
Of course, you're supposed to have a level of decorum in your Greek letters. I was always taught that if you're going to cut up, you can cut up. Just don't do it in your letters. Take them off so you can cut up. I've even seen senior sorors do a 2-finger tap and say, baby, go on, change your shirt, honey. Go on it, because, you know, do you, but you can't do you in Sigma apparel, right?
Well, see, the dignity and self-respect that you're looking for, it doesn't begin with an organization where you literally have to get your ass beaten in order to be a part of it. It doesn't start with lectures being given on TikTok.
And guess what? I don't give a damn. Back in the day, I didn't want to hear it, but I heard it. And I used to have my face screwed up. But you know what? Y'all gonna hear it now. Because y'all need to hear it.
That lesson begins when you begin to start valuing yourself. And by doing so, you begin to value your own family and ultimately your community. In fact, we live in a culture right now, and when I say we live in a culture, I'm specifically talking about black culture, that is so mixed up and intertwined with so many things right now that literally right now at the time of me recording this, we have black people who are using an Indian woman to authenticate who is versus who isn't truly black. Black culture has definitely lost its way. Now, it doesn't mean that black culture is doomed or anything like that. No, we just have to be willing to address the many elephants that have come into the room that we're now and have been treating like they're a bunch of poodles. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of times I have tried to start these type of conversations right here on this platform, and I'm just constantly met with anger, deflection, and excuse after excuse after excuse. Do you remember that story that we talked about of the black restaurant down in Texas that was having so many problems with their black customers? They said, you know what, enough is enough. We're going to start we're going to install a dress code. And there was a lot of pushback from black people. In fact, there was this one black woman that was so fed up with it, she did this.
Turkey leg hut.
Yeah.
Coming in hot over here.
You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Confident. Damn.
And don't you know that I had people leaving comments saying stuff like, well, the restaurant should have done a much better job in explaining to people what is versus what isn't allowed in their establishment. What? I mean, does Walmart have to post somewhere in the front door that no humping in the produce section, no dancing in the meat section? Now, as someone who's an entrepreneur myself and have spoken with entrepreneurs over the years, I can tell you, and I'm talking black entrepreneurs, I can tell you that is a resounding response that I get from many black entrepreneurs is that at the end of the day, it seems that we have more respect for the Walmarts of the world than we do for our own establishments. Yes, so something is terribly wrong, and that, in my opinion, is where the conversation begins. Once we begin to have the willingness to start addressing these type of issues, then the clothes issue itself is going to fix itself. Why? Because people will begin to see in them that there's something that is valuable, there's something precious, and there's something worth defending and representing regardless where they go, be it on the street, be it at the concert, or even in their own homes. People will once again see that they are part of a culture that is full of dignity and self-respect. And you can't have a culture that's full of dignity and self-respect if the people don't feel that for themselves. So it's a lot easier to get on TikTok and to nag people, but that's not going to fix it. It begins by addressing these real issues that I just talked about.